Hey everyone, James from TDB here, bringing you a interesting series of episodes. This is going to be called Shumageddon. So thank you and shout outs to Steam Milk for putting this on. It's basically a tournament between a bunch of different teas. I don't know what they are, so it's a blind tasting tournament. And there are 8 different teas. They are 3 factories and 5 boutiques. They're all priced between 11 cents to 15 cents a gram, and released for sale in 2020 or 2021. And they all have code names. So, for instance, the 2 I will be drinking now are Amused Scorpion and Humble Squid. Going to be doing 2 sort of face-off matches. So basically how it works is we have the 8 teas, and they all have sort of a randomly assigned match. So these 2 are going to face off. I'm going to let you know which one I prefer, and that tea will go on, and then I will reveal the loser of that match. And then I will continue for the other 4 matches, and then the 4 winners will then face off, and then the 2 winners from that will face off, and we will have 1 overall winner from there. So basically a blind taste, and we'll just be sort of revealing the teas as we go. For this episode, gonna be doing 2 different matches, as well as for the next one, so knock off the quarterfinals in 2, and then I'll probably do the semifinals in 1 each. We'll be rating based off aroma, taste, mouthfeel, aftertaste, and feel. And I will also sort of let you know what the margin is. So if it's like a slam dunk for one tea, it'd be a 5-0. If it's a lot closer, it'd be 3-2, something like that. Excited to get started. I am going to give both of these teas, which are the Amused Scorpion and Humble Squid, a rinse, and then let's get going. Okay, so I have given both of these a rinse, and here we are looking at the first steeps. Here was about 15-20 seconds, using 4.5 grams, 75 milliliters for both of these teas. As you know, I normally brew my Ripe in this big blue pot, so this is a little different, but I've always found Ripe to be a pretty flexible category, so I think I can roll with the flow here. So we have Amused Scorpion right here, gonna start us off. So it looks like from the colors that the Humble Squid is brewing a little bit darker. Let's also take a smell of both of these before we really get going. I would be very surprised if this is not boutique. It has fairly rich smells, a little bit higher noted than normal. Compression looks a little tighter on the Humble Squid. I would lean factory on this. Feels a little bit heavier fermented, a little bit darker, probably a little bit woodier as well. Cheers. Sort of creamy. Yeah, fairly rich, I would say. And you know what? I'm going to grab another cup for this tea. So I am not going too far back and forth. And I'll probably do at least 3 steeps, if not 4, both of these. So I'm going to get a little jazzed just from all this tea drinking. Cheers. Yeah, and I like this decently. It's a little bit thin for my taste, I would say. I'll be curious if this one thickens it up a little bit. It kind of has that base ripe taste, which I would describe as a little woody. This one's probably brighter on average than one, so I think the aroma is a little bit better. Mouthfeel-wise, it hints a little bit at that sort of like silkiness, silk vanilla texture. It doesn't fully get there for me. Not on this steep at least. Alright, so let us move to this one. Cheers. So Humble Squid here. Much darker tone, so cocoa wood. I would say, actually, on the initial steep, I might prefer this. I think the Amused Scorpion has a little bit more going on in terms of complexity, but for me, I prefer it kind of just has like this real strong, robust base, and I'm getting that more from this Humble Squid. I wouldn't say the difference is super stark, though. Yeah, pretty good. And I boiled this right before hitting camera. Record, so we're going to go in reverse order this time. So going to go to humble squid first. Keeping these pretty short. And here is the Amused scorpion. Okay, so again, the color difference is pretty stark here, actually. Surprisingly so. Yeah, it makes me think that perhaps this is lighter fermented or something like that. The humble squid is a little bit more what I'd expect. In addition, the humble squid is more compressed, so I thought it might take a little bit longer to just sort of reveal itself, but that does not seem to be the case here. Aroma-wise, definitely prefer the Amused scorpion. I guess taste and feel and aftertaste and mouthfeel, I definitely probably am preferring the humble squid. Cheers. Yeah, very sturdy. I would not be shocked. I guess I wouldn't be shocked either way if this is a factory or boutique. I'm not sure I'm great at discerning that. It tastes very middle of the road right for me. And wouldn't be shocked if it's Monghai Tea Factory. And I tend to like those things. I also wouldn't be shocked if everyone else in the panel picks Amused Scorpion. It is more complex. There's more aroma and stuff like that that others find appealing. For me, I tend to just like a really strong, I don't know, base taste, and I like the normal ripe taste. So as a regular ripe drinker, I appreciate the normalness of that tea. Yeah, woody, creamy, pretty simple, but just, you know, a solid workhorse. Okay, and now let's move to Amused Scorpion. And I think I'm probably just going to need 3 steeps of these. That was pretty darn similar to the first steep. So let's see how this one has evolved too. Okay, that's a little bit better than the first steep, I'd say. Definitely on the texture front. It's also thickened up a bit. A little bit less sweet, but more body and wood and cream. Okay, alright, so this got a little more interesting here. Now I find myself less in the humble squid camp after this steep. Yeah, so now this basically, it tastes similar to the previous time, but it's kind of picked up the base of it, and so I'm liking it a lot more because it has more of that stuff that's really balancing it out, in addition to the aromatics and stuff that was already making it more complex. So right now, definitely would give this round probably to the Amused Scorpion. Okay, well, I might need to go more than 3 rounds now, so I may have spoken a little too soon. These go for another 20 seconds or so. And I will now reverse order back to the Amused Scorpion. I would be quite surprised if the Amused Scorpion is not a boutique. I'm not sure. I would guess which boutique. I mean, I'm not even sure which boutiques are in there. White tea would certainly be towards the top as a guess, but who knows. Okay, so you can see even with, you know, a somewhat decent steep time like that, we're still sort of getting this red liqueur. Leaf-wise, you know, it's like not pitch black, but it is pretty dark, so I don't know. Let that hang out for a second. I could see it being Yunnan sourcing too, frankly. It reminds me a little bit of like Munghai area ripes, but probably not Munghai Tea Factory ripes. Stuff like the Haiwan is a little bit similar to this. Okay, and again, it is brewing darker. Simpler aroma. All right, pour one. Pour two. It's quite rare for me to have ripe out of a Haiwan, but yeah, you know, different. It works fine. No need to get too anal about those things. Cheers. Yeah, woody, creamy with a little bit of texture and uplift. I'd probably still say Humble Squid has more of the that base like body to it than the Scorpion does, but this has enough that I think I'm probably going to end up liking the Amused Scorpion in the end. But you know, it was a little bit too soon for me to pass judgment off the first steep, so let's keep going. And I think Denny would like this tea. It's hints at that sort of like ripe cherry note that he likes in some of his ripes. I don't think it quite gets there, but it has more interesting texture and aromatics, and definitely is a little bit higher noted. It'd be curious to brew this in like more of my regular ripe vessels. I could see it actually being a little bit better in a Haiwan, just in terms of like appreciating those higher notes to it. I'm actually not used to getting such high notes in ripe tea, mainly probably because I am brewing in these heavier vessels. Cheers. Okay, so yeah, again, pretty similar to other ones. Definitely, probably a thicker body. Other than that, I think I would award this round also to the Amused Scorpion. I would say round one probably went to Humble Squid, and then Amused Scorpion. I don't think there's a limit in the number of rounds I'm going to do. I'm going to do one more round just to confirm impressions, but right now I would give this to Amused Scorpion. So it's winning going into the 8th or 9th inning. And this is the sort of tea that I would really imagine drinking in the morning with my wife. Reminds me of Munghai Tea Factory Productions' Haiwan Remote Mountain that I brought on to Inbetweenisode recently. So I'll be curious. It would not shock me if it's boutique, but I would lean factory at this point. And let me know if you've ever tried wine tasting before. There's probably a little more dead space on this episode, but I did want to show you all how I'm brewing it. I'm not using a timer, so I guess I could be more scientific, but you know, I think I'm experienced enough with brewing that I can get pretty good general impressions just off of winging it like this. Yeah, so right now my current guess is we will find what this one is, Humble Squid. My guess it is a factory and a Munghai area production. So we'll find out. I don't think it tastes particularly like the Xiaguan Xiaofa tool. I'm not sure if that's one of the factories that would have been included, but yeah. Let that keep going. Both teas I think could be pushed. I think Amused Scorpion in particular benefited from opening up a little bit, just so it could get more body to it. All right. Then I will take smells. Current guess for this is probably Yunnan sourcing, ripe of some sort. Maybe a Haiwan. Alright, so again, all 4 brews, we are getting darker colors from the humble squid. Starting with that this time. Cheers. More of the same. Dark, creamy. Alright, we're just going to hop right over back to the Amused scorpion. Cheers. Yeah, again, more of the same. Loses slightly on the body. Other than that, I think the Amused scorpion is the more interesting tea to drink. Certainly more complex in texture and stuff like that. So we are going to reveal what the humble squid is. And we will see how correct or incorrect I am. Okay, so I was kind of right. It is, I was wrong on the factory though. It's the Xiaguan 2021 Jin Chui Golden Sparrow. So that's the humble squid, which has been eliminated in round 1. Solid tea. I have no complaints over it. I think it's fairly ordinary ripe. It really has that Monghai area taste, or at least so I thought. So I would be curious to do a little bit of research onto this tea and see what it is. In fact, maybe I'll do that just right on camera real fast using good old phone. Since I believe these teas are probably bought from Yunnan sourcing or something like that. Let's see. Not shown up on a quick Google. So we, you can look it up and you can tell me if it is a Monghai area recipe from Xiaguan or not. Totally could be wrong, but that was my guess off of the tasting. And I will now move on to the next quarterfinal match. Okay, so now I have moved on to part 2, where we are doing 2 more teas. Also, I forgot to announce the score of the previous round. It was a 4-1 decisive as far as going for the, AS. Which I forget it now that it's not in front of me. I'm filming this on the next day. So, fairly decisive. I did change my mind early on in the session, but I felt like it was solidly better than ES. So today, for this part of the episode, we are doing Debonair skunk over here on the left, and ecstatic sloth. So a couple more creative names. So DS and ES. And this is the first brew, using the exact same parameters as yesterday. And I'm going to take a smell. Also reminds me a lot of Yunnan sourcing Monghai area ripes there. This one's fairly different. It's kind of bright, but I don't know, it smells pretty different from what I would expect. So not sure exactly what that's going to be in store for us. The Debonair skunk feels a lot more familiar to me. Yeah, I should keep these somewhat visible. Alright, so we're going to start with the Debonair skunk here. Cheers. Solid body, nice sort of silky texture. Not that sweet actually as far as ripe goes, but kind of your base woody stuff. Nice mouthfeel to this. And I am also going to boil this water while we get ready for steep number 2. Okay, so not bad. Kind of a hint of bitterness to this too. Interesting. Like not a lot. It feels like a blend, and maybe there's like 15% bitterness in here. Cheers. So here's ecstatic sloth. Woody. It's It also kind of has that silk texture. There's a hint of tang to this too. Curious. This one is a little bit harder for me to pin down as far as just the tea and sort of its characteristics. Interesting. And we will be going in reverse order for this next brew. So starting with the ecstatic sloth. And probably go for 15 seconds or so. So we'll brew that now. So pretty dark color. I'd say in terms of brightness, which was a big distinguisher in the last two, these are a lot more comparable to each other. As you could tell, the colors they were brewing were quite similar. So try to go for about 15 seconds here as well. And we will brew. So again, it looks like the ecstatic sloth brewing just a little bit darker. I'd say tentatively on this round I might award it to the Debonair skunk, but really I'm reserving judgment on both of these. Sweet. Feels very familiar to me. The aroma of this is just kind of different. And I can't tell if that's because it's like, I don't know. My guesses are probably going to be all over the place on both of these teas. I would lean towards the Debonair skunk being something boutique, but I could be wrong there too. I could see it being a Monghai Tea Factory production as well. So I don't know. So starting with the sloth. Cheers. So a little more in that creamy vein. Yeah, it's starting to taste a little more run-of-the-mill here. Creamy, woody, ripe. Yeah, pretty straightforward actually on that steep, and not terribly out of the ordinary. Cheers. Better body on this. More interesting texture as well. So far, I think this round especially, I would award to the Debonair skunk. Yeah, I definitely prefer that on this round. But we will do one last one. If I'm still feeling pretty good about the Debonair skunk, I will award the round there. Yeah, I think also one other thing is the thinness of the ecstatic sloth is it feels a little more thin to me than the Debonair skunk. All right, just let that go again for maybe about 20 seconds or so. Yeah, quite interesting to try ripe like this. I feel like most of my blind tasting has been the raw. Ripe, it kind of widens or shortens the variations you can get rather than a raw where you can have a lot. So, it very interesting. So this brew is dark, but not super dark. And I feel like these blind tastes are kind of a fun exercise, especially once you may have done the rounds on tea a couple times, just to sort of mix it up. You can have a significant other or a friend like blind some teas for you and just see how it goes. Come up with some creative names like these, and yeah, you might be surprised. Just a little longer. Want to give these teas both a fair shot. Brewing pretty similar colors this time around. And a smell. Yeah, so I'm not just detecting very much special stuff on the ecstatic sloth. So my inclination is to guess that it's something really run-of-the-mill factory-wise or a very mediocre boutique production. It doesn't really tip my hand as far as the profile goes, so I'm less sure as far as that, but I don't know. I'll be really curious to see what it is. I suspect I will be seeing what it is in just a moment after I do this latest brew. So again, Debonair skunk here. Cheers. Solid woody body. To me, this tea is good. I don't know if it's great. To me, I wouldn't be shocked if this is the Wang or the Haiwan from Yunnan sourcing. I guess all my guesses are going to end up being Yunnan sourcing or Manghai Tea Factory because that's most of what I drink. But it does remind me of those teas. Yeah, just a hint of that bitterness that sort of lingers. That makes me think that, there's something else going on here beyond just like a normal Haiwan. Okay, and back to the ecstatic sloth. Yeah, not terribly impressive. I would say even that I prefer the ES from last time too. It just had a more solid base and body to this. This feels thin and is just not very rewarding right now. All right, so not bad. I mean, I could drink ecstatic sloth in the morning, but probably as of now the weakest of the 4 teas I've tried. So let us reveal what it is. So Debonair skunk wins this round. Okay, so this is BitterLeafTea 2020 Your Ripeness. Yeah, I can't say I'm terribly impressed with this tea. It comes across as pretty mediocre to me. I wasn't surprised. It's one of it didn't really tip its hand as far as factory versus boutique, so I'm not too surprised that it's this. So yeah, and next round, when we do get to the semifinals, it'll be Debonair skunk versus AS, whatever that was. So that concludes this Inbetweenisode. I'll be doing an episode next week with the other 2 quarterfinalists, and then I will do, got the poo burps, episodes for the semifinalists, and then the finals as well. So hope you all enjoy this. This is kind of a fun, interesting series to do, and I will see you all next time. Hey, so I just realized again that I did not record the margin on DS versus ES. I'll give it a 5-0 win for DS, actually, in this case. Alright, so I am filming this after finishing the whole Shumageddon, and so I have the results here. So releasing these sort of after the episodes. I didn't plan for this ahead of time, so if you're wondering why it seems like I recorded most of the episodes without really knowing the results or knowing they'd be revealed at the end, this is why. So for match 1, Amused Scorpion versus Humble Squid, which I gave to Amused Scorpion 4-1. It is actually a reverse decision from myself, 21-14 in favor of Humble Squid. Looks like of the 7 panelists, of which I'm not included, 4 of them, 5 of them, scratch that, rewarded it to Humble Squid, whereas 2 of them went for Amused Scorpion. I thought Humble Squid was a pretty good tea. Amused Scorpion was just a little bit more interesting to me. So I can definitely understand sort of how they arrived at this. I think conventionally speaking, in terms of just like body and things going on, Humble Squid, I can see it for sure. So that was the Xiaguan tea. For match number 2, it was Debonair Skunk versus Ecstatic Sloth. And it was 22-13 in favor of Debonair Skunk. So in that sense, in this match, I did agree with the judges. Yeah, so Ecstatic Sloth was the BitterLeafTea, a tea that I tried again today, and I think it's okay. There's just something a little bit off on that tea that I don't particularly enjoy.